You've been surrounded by symbols all your life: flags, logos, icons, crests. But did you ever wonder what these shapes are really doing to you? Because symbols are not just images, they are codes, speaking directly to the parts of you that words cannot reach. Ancient civilizations knew this. They didn't adorn walls with sigils. They embedded codes to command reality. A symbol could bless. A symbol could bind. A symbol could open doors between worlds, or close them forever. But then, something changed. The knowledge was hidden. The real sigils were buried, and humanity was taught to fear the very tools that could have set it free. What if the symbols you forgot are the very ones that could awaken your power? What if the key to rewriting your reality was hidden in plain sight, waiting for you to remember how to use it? In this episode, we'll resurrect the ancient science of sacred sigils and show you how to reclaim the silent language that speaks directly to creation itself. Part 1. The Ancient Origins of Sigils. Long before history was written, humanity carved its prayers into stone, not as sentences but as symbols, not to tell stories, but to shape reality. The Sumerians etched their cuneiform into clay, summoning energies they could feel, before sight could name them. The Egyptians adorned their temples with hieroglyphs, each symbol more than a word, a portal between realms. In the frozen north, the Norse inscribed runes on wood and bone, sigils of protection, power, and destiny. And in the hidden libraries of the Hermeticists and alchemists, sigils bloomed into intricate maps, not of geography, but of consciousness. Across cultures, across continents, the same truth emerged. Symbols are not decorations, they are devices, tools of alignment, gateways of intention. A sigil, properly crafted and activated, doesn't just represent an idea. It generates a field. It bypasses the rational mind. It speaks directly to the subconscious. It imprints energy into the invisible matrix of existence, and the ancients knew exactly how to do it. They created sigils through ritual. Breath, sound, emotion, fused into form. Each line, each curve, a living vibration. Each sigil, a command sent into the fabric of reality. Some were simple. A circle to call protection, a spiral to invite renewal. Others were complex. Geometric keys that mirrored the hidden structure of the universe itself. But no matter how simple or complex, sigils had one purpose: to interface with creation, to shape energy, to shape outcomes, to shape consciousness. They were the original technology of manifestation, long before religions, long before systems of control. And then, as empires rose and sought to control the unseen, this knowledge was pushed underground. Sigils were no longer taught in temples. They were whispered in secret, hidden in codes, buried under layers of fear and superstition. What once empowered humanity was now branded as forbidden, dangerous, dark, but the truth cannot be erased. Sigils never died. They pulse in your blood. They hum through sacred spaces, awaiting your remembrance. In the symbols that still stir something ancient inside you. You have seen them, you have felt them, you have forgotten them. In the next part, we will dive deeper to uncover how sigils actually work, how they bypass the mind, speak to the soul, and reprogram the invisible field around you. Because the power of a sigil is not in its shape alone, it's in the frequency it carries and the reality it reshapes. Part 2. The Science of Symbols, How Sigils Reprogram Reality. A sigil is not magic because you believe in it. It is magic because it speaks a language your conscious mind has forgotten, but your soul still understands. Symbols bypass logic. They slip past the guards of reason. They imprint directly onto the subconscious mind, where reality is first shaped. The ancients didn't theorize this, they knew it. Today, neuroscience confirms the subconscious processes images 60,000 times faster than language. Your rational mind might doubt, question, analyze, but your deeper mind sees a symbol and responds. It doesn't argue, it reprograms. When you focus on a sigil charged with intention, your subconscious takes it as a command. It adjusts your beliefs, your perceptions, your energy field, and since reality reflects the field you project, changing your internal blueprint inevitably reshapes your external world. This is not superstition, it's energetic architecture. In ancient temples, sigils were carved into the stone, not for beauty, but to vibrate reality itself, to stabilize energy, to amplify intention, to anchor unseen forces into form. In cymatics, the study of how sound creates shape, frequencies naturally produce spirals, mandalas, glyphs. Sound waves carve order out of chaos, form from formlessness. Sigils do the same. They are the frozen music of consciousness. A sigil is an idea, a frequency, a will, given shape in this world. That's why some symbols feel charged. Some stir emotions you can't explain. Some open gates you didn't know were locked. Because they are more than marks. They are keys. When you create or activate a sigil, you are embedding your intention into the architecture of existence itself, and the spiral of cause and effect starts to move around you, reconfiguring reality to match the vibration you have released. But there's a secret. The sigil alone holds no power. It is your breath, your fire, your remembrance that calls it alive. A dead sigil is just a symbol. An activated sigil is a command. In the next part, we'll explore how ancient initiates didn't just draw sigils, they activated them, turning passive symbols into living portals, charging them with force and using them to bridge between mind and matter. Because creating a sigil is only the first step. Awakening it is where true transformation begins. Part 3. Sigils as active portals of intention. A symbol without energy is nothing. A sigil without intention is just a deadline. The ancients knew it's not the shape that holds power, it's the force you breathe into it. A sigil is not art. It's a command dash, encoded in symbol, carried by vibration, released into the unseen. And to activate a sigil, you don't need permission. You don't need belief. You need alignment. Focus so clear it slices through illusion. Emotion so alive it warps the fabric of being. Intention so anchored it cannot be denied. In mystery schools, sigils were never left idle. They were ignited. Through ritual breath, spiral dance, sacred chant, the initiate didn't just stare at the symbol, they became it. Because when you embody a vibration fully, reality reshapes around you. This is the secret the world forgot. Energy follows intention, form follows energy. Reality follows form. When you create a sigil and pour your truth into it, you're not asking the universe, you are programming it. Each line of the sigil becomes a circuit. Each curve becomes a memory. Each point becomes a beacon. And the field around you, the invisible architecture of reality, begins to bend, to shift, to obey. This is why the greatest initiates didn't chase miracles. They crafted them. They understood. A true sigil doesn't just represent an idea. It becomes a living magnet, pulling outcomes toward it, like iron filings to a lodestone. The spiral you dance around it, the breath you weave into it, the surrender you offer to it. These are not ceremonies for gods. They are activations of your own creative fire, because the sigil isn't separate from you. It is you, concentrated. It is you, encoded in symbol. It is you, whispered into the matrix of creation, and once activated, you don't need to watch it. You don't need to control it. You let it go, and you become the field it programs. In the next part, we'll unveil why this knowledge, so simple, so unstoppable, was hidden, suppressed, and feared. Because when a soul reclaims the language of symbols, it ceases to serve the world. It begins to shape it. They become its architect. Part 4. The suppression and corruption of sigil knowledge. Knowledge this powerful was never left unchallenged. In the ancient world, those who mastered sigils mastered reality. They didn't need priests. They didn't need kings. They spoke directly to the fabric of existence, and that made them dangerous. As empires rose and institutions sought control, the sacred science of symbols was suppressed. The same sigils once etched into temples, once danced into life by mystics, were now declared heresy, tied to fear, wrapped in chains of superstition. Not because they were evil, but because they worked. The power of intention, the sovereignty of spirit, the ability to shape energy, was ripped from the hands of the many and hoarded by the few. Sigils were burned from memory. The public was taught to fear them, to believe that working with symbols was witchcraft, dangerous, forbidden, and so humanity forgot. Forgot that a symbol is a mirror. Forgot that it amplifies whatever lives in the heart. Forgot that it is intention, not superstition, that gives the symbol life. Because if you fear the symbol, you forget your own power. And if you forget your power, you can be ruled. This was never about good or evil. It was about access. It was about silencing the original language of creation. The language that bypasses dogma and speaks directly to the soul of the universe. Even today, echoes remain. In the logos that condition behavior, in the icons that move markets, in the seals still hidden on sacred buildings. Symbols didn't lose their power. You were trained to forget how to use them, but the sigils were never truly lost. They live inside you, in your memory, in your bones, waiting for the moment you remember, how to breathe life back into them. In the next part, we'll cross the threshold back into remembrance and learn how to reclaim the true power of sigils as sacred tools for creation, alignment, and conscious rebirth. Because the time for fear is over. The time to shape reality has returned. Part 5. Reclaiming the true power of sacred sigils. The sigils were never destroyed. They were buried. Beneath fear, beneath doubt, beneath the dust of forgetting. But dust can be blown away, and now it is time to reclaim the sacred science that was never outside you, only sleeping within you. Reclaiming the true power of sigils begins not with rituals carved in stone, but with a single living truth. Intention shapes reality. Symbol amplifies intention. You are the bridge. A sigil is not an object of worship. It is an extension of will, a focusing lens for consciousness, a living interface between your soul and the quantum field. To reclaim a sigil's power, you feel your intention. Raw, real, radiant. You encode it into form dash dash. A spiral, a glyph, a curve drawn from pure knowing. You breathe into it, charging it with presence, anchoring it with emotion, and then you release it. You don't cling, you don't beg, you trust. Because a true sigil is not forced into existence. It ripples outward, changing the lattice of reality by resonance, not control. In ancient times, this was called the Great Work. Not to manipulate the world, but to align so deeply with creation that your very being became a signature of change. You don't need to summon power. You are power remembering itself. You don't need to chase destiny. You weave it. The true sigil is not drawn in ink. It's drawn in vibration, in breath, in being. Every choice you make, every word you speak, every truth you embody is a living sigil, stamping your signature onto the world around you. You are already shaping reality. The only question is, are you doing it consciously? Because when you remember, you no longer wait for change. You become it. You no longer seek symbols outside you. You activate the ones within. And now, as we step into the final reflection, you will remember the oldest secret. You are not merely using sigils. You are the sigil, living, breathing, creating. You are the spell, the song, the signature of becoming. And your time to awaken is now. Final CTA. You are the living sigil. You have always been the sigil, not ink on paper, not a mark on stone, but a living vibration, shaping reality with every breath you take. Every choice you make is a line etched into the unseen. Every emotion you release is a curve carved into the field of creation. Every truth you embody is a symbol activated into light. You are not just moving through life. You are programming it. You are not waiting for permission. You are weaving the fabric of existence with your very being. The forgotten power of sacred sigils was never truly lost. It was hidden in the most sacred place of all, inside you. Share this remembrance with those ready to awaken, because when enough of us live as conscious sigils, we do not just change our lives, we reawaken the world. You are the sigil. You are the spell. You are the bridge between thought and becoming. Welcome back to the art of conscious creation.